a lot of you now. Listen, some of you are young, and you're going to be like, "Oh my God, how old are you?" And again, I turned 55 on Monday, so that's how old I am.
Mm-hmm.
But she always had the little 2-pack box of gum. You know what I'm talking about?
Right, I know what you're talking about.
And like with the 2 little mint pieces of gum. And like you could buy them by the whatever, but she always had them, and she would always hand me a little green box with 2 pieces of gum, like the little, like, you know. I don't know. That's one
Is
of the
that squirt gum and you're squirting your mouth?
No, not that. Just a little like white, like rectangular.
Oh yeah.
They still make
kind
it.
of crunchy on the outside.
Yeah, that stuff. But it came in a little tiny box,
right?
And there were 2 pieces, and she always had them in her purse, always.
Really?
And it was. I mean, so anyway, I don't know.
My uncle always would see me, you know, hey, here, boy, tell you what, come here a minute. And he'd give me a quarter. Go buy yourself something nice. Thanks, cheapskate. Appreciate you. I take the gum.
I mean, you know,
quarter got me nothing. Even back in those days, man, quarter got you nothing.
Didn't a quarter used to get you like a comic?
Maybe a 2-piece pack of gum.
Or a pack of gum, right?
Nah, I couldn't even get that with a quarter. Come on, we're not that old, dude. I remember when bread was a nickel and we'd walk uphill in the snow in June to the store. We're not that old, dude. We didn't go horseback.
I can't remember.
A quarter ain't buying you jack when we were kids, man. But he gave it to me like he was really like I hit the lottery.
Well, like in Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
You know, they want it when the grandma wants them to rub her feet. Rusty, I'll give you a quarter. I'll give Audrey a quarter too, Audrey.
Yeah, man. So anyway, you got gum and I got a quarter. I'd take the gum over the quarter.
But as we often do on this program, we have veered way around to get back to it. Tony Vitello. Tony Vitello.
Do you like the move?
Well, I don't. You know, there's a part of me that says, yeah, I think this is it's an interesting, and in fact, it's going to be the theme of our start bench drop. So I'm going to have you rank things in a minute. In fact, I'll go ahead and do it. I'll go ahead and do it. I know this is an odd kind of start bench drop. So here's the way we'll do it, Terry. So start bench drop these feelings of the Tony Vitello hire.
Okay.
In alphabetical order.
Go for it.
Crazy, risky, savvy.
Okay. I like that. Here, my thought on this is, first of all,
and you have to rank all 3. Now, your starter is the one you think,
and your bench is second.
Yeah, you know.
Right.
So, but you know, look. Do I like the hire? I mean, yeah, because Tony is proven. Listen, I'm not comparing them directly, but we the college sporting public love to poke fun at a guy like Eli Drinkwitz, right?
Sure.
But he's successful.
Yeah, he is.
Tony Vitello is kind of an ass.
And so have been his teams at times.
But he, in a very short amount of time, took a program where people didn't care.
Right.
All right? I mean, and Tennessee, I think, like twice in the previous 20-some seasons, had kind of, you know, and you can't really backdoor your way into the College World Series, but if you could, Tennessee did. And one time they had one of the greatest college players of all time when Todd Hilton was on the team.
Right, who was phenomenal.
And so they were like, oh yeah, we have a baseball team. We have the Smokies. No. The Vols have a baseball. Wait, the Vols have a baseball team? Tony Vitello turned it into a premier program.
Yeah, weren't there more people in the library than at a Vols game?
Maybe.
At times for baseball. And now it's sold out.
You can't get a
it's
ticket.
craziness.
You can't get a ticket. So in that respect, he's been great. But he's a hell of a recruiter, and his kids love to play for him. And that second part is going to be the big part. Here's the thing. He makes $3 million. Bob Melvin made $4 million. Tony will probably make around the same money.
You're not going to pry him out of Knoxville unless you're going to pay him.
It's going to be $4 or $5 million. But, you know, is it about the money? It's really not, because he'll get the money's going to be there because it's, you know, it's there. But I doubt he goes past 5. He might. I don't know. But can he command a locker room where tons of dudes will be making $20 million?
And that's my thing. Look, let me be honest about baseball. I think it's tougher to gauge a successful hire in baseball as a manager than in any of these other sports for coaches, because I think it's so much fit. Because again, it's not managing the game. That's 3-4 wins a year with a good in-game strategist, right? It's managing the clubhouse for 6 months.
Absolutely.
And here's my thing with Vitello. that stuff that worked with college kids, even in the NIL world, you're now dealing with grown bleeping men making more money than you.
Yeah.
And
again, in some cases, a lot more money.
They look at your salary and go, yeah, dude, that's in my glove compartment and change. Can you take how you motivate?
That's my alimony payment to my second wife.
And the baby mama, whose name I still can't remember. Here's the thing. How can you translate your motivational skills that you had with college kids? Can you translate that to grown men who are making more money than you and know if it comes down to you or them, it's going to be you?
Yeah.
How do you translate? Because what you did with those kids ain't going to work.
Right.
Now, if you can translate that to grown men and still take that edge you brought that made Tennessee so good, I think that's what captivated Buster Posey, to be quite honest.
It is. I think, yeah.
Is how Vitello took something that less than nobody cared about.
Because it isn't like, because to your point there, and I think that's a great way to look at it, it isn't like Tony Vitello from a sheer talent perspective, roster perspective, had a roster that was just head and shoulders above LSU and Florida and Arkansas and Vanderbilt. It wasn't like those great programs are going, dad gum, we don't have a kid that could start for Tony. That's not the case. That's not the case. Now, he had a loaded roster, but it wasn't, just so great that he had some kind of all-star team playing for him. He found ways to motivate them, to engage them, to do an us against the world, and it worked. I mean, I think he won the SEC twice. Obviously, he won the college. I think they went to Omaha 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times to Omaha.
I mean, and again, in a relatively short amount of time. And he worked under the great Dave Van Horn for many, many years. So, he knows his stuff. But this is no longer – look, here, his recruiting will be, along with Buster Posey and a couple others, the recruiting will be going to get a couple of free agents.
Yeah, the recruiting piece is off to the side.
It's a little bit of just getting to know you kind of thing. But you're not going in, and you might go to that dude's house. But when you go to that dude's house, the chances are pretty good that the free agent you're trying to get lives in a house that has about 15, 20,000 square feet.
He goes like this, ready? Nice garage. Where's your house? Oh, this is my house.
Yeah.
And I just really think that, look, I'm going to give Buster Posey credit for thinking outside the box and giving it a shot. And if it works, great. If not, you go hire the next guy. I mean, you try, and Tony Vitello will go back to college and get a great gig, whatever. I think the make or break on this is, can he transform himself into being able to motivate grown men who know, not to be mean, hey, bro, if you don't connect with us, that's a you problem.
Right.
I also think Buster likes that edge Vitello brought to Tennessee because, let's face it, except for a couple years ago under Gabe Kapler, the Giants have been bleh since they won the World Series. And I think Buster wants to re-energize them, get an edge in that clubhouse. Because let's face it, the Dodgers ain't going anywhere. Padres have a good roster. Diamondbacks went to the World Series a couple years ago. You're dealing with a division that's got some stuff going on in it, and everybody's kind of passed you by. And I think Buster also fell in love with that edge that maybe Tony can bring it to the clubhouse and get that Giant team jump-started from a mental standpoint now.
And the thing, and you and I talked about this yesterday, and you mentioned that they haven't been great, but that's just it. The Giants in the previous decade won the World Series 3 times.
3 times.
And
yes.
This is it's a beautiful ballpark. It's always full.
And they got this.
They got plenty of money. Plenty of money. Mm-hmm. They have a huge fan base. And there are high expectations.
As there should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
And because, let's face it, they have been generational rivals of the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. So there's and they've done good things. I mean, the Giants have had,
and they want to get back to doing good things again. And I think that's what they're. Look, I'm not gonna. I can say baseball's so tough. I told you I gave up trying to figure this out when the Yankees hired some dude named Joe Torre who was never successful, and he went and they have a dynasty. And Joe's claim, really, his skill was just keeping Steinbrenner the hell away from the players, and then putting Mario Rivera in the 9th inning. I just think fit is so important. And again, I'm not sitting in that interview with Vitello, with Buster. And again, Vitello, I've seen him on TV doing stuff for the MLB draft and things. I get why you could talk to Vitello and walk away going, all right, I'm digging that guy, what he's saying.
And yeah.
So I I give Buster props for. I don't know if I'm a GM. I'm hiring Vitello from the college ranks to manage a major league team. So I'm gonna give Buster.
Never been done.
That's why I'm gonna give Buster props for this because if it works, Buster's a genius and it's going to start the floodgates opening. Maybe.
And that ownership group again knows what they're doing, and they've allowed this. They don't just get to sure, Buster, do whatever you want. They got to run it. You got to run it over the desk.
I'm kind of rooting for this to succeed. I kind of am. Look, I'm not a fan of what some of the stuff Tennessee did under Vitello. The way they conducted themselves on the field, I think, was classless at times. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it was.
But I'm going to say this.
When you going around flipping dudes off.
Come on, man. Yeah, come on, dude. And then your coach lets you and kind of like
almost
backs you
encourages
and
it.
backs you.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of
try that in the bigs.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. Give that one a whirl. Guess who's eating 99, right? Guess who's eating a 99-mile-an-hour fastball?
Yeah, it won't last. You can't.
So there's a part of me that wants to see it to be successful just because it's so different. Not that I love Vitello or what he did it to. I mean, I respect the hell out of him.
Yeah.
There's just I don't know what to call it, but there's a fascination of this whole move. There's a part of me that wants to see it work. And if it does work, college baseball coaches, head coaches will go, get me out of this NIL world. Take me to the majors, baby. So this is another thing about this, Jay. If it works, we might start seeing others go, I can't deal with NIL and transfer portals. Put me in the majors, man.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But Tony Vitello and the Tennessee baseball, by the way, made it official. They sent out their own tweet.
Giants, by the way.
They sent out their own tweet. Thanks, Coach. So it's done. But again, start bench drop on the Vitello hire. That's today. So we did it a little bit early. We'll probably do it again for you. These emotions, crazy, risky, savvy. That's what we're going to do today. We got Gamecock stuff to get into. Coordinators have spoken. David Cloninger coming up in just a little bit, too. Plenty more on this Wednesday edition of the Postgame Show. All right, 20 minutes after 3 o'clock here on a Wednesday afternoon, or as Elijah likes to say, Wednesday. Jay and Terry with you. Jalen's in the house for a little bit. David Cloninger coming up in a bit. Again, I will be away on Friday, but Terry and friends will be back over at Kreger Showrooms for another, I guess, kind of a tailgate show.
Yeah, man. We were going to set it up. I mean, did you? I know you were stalking the Coyote Grills guy to where he got a little uncomfortable. But did you try any of the chicken or anything off of there?
I had a little bit. I had to sadly tell them because I had a daughter who was coming home, and we had promised to take her to dinner. And as badly as I wanted to eat one of those hamburgers and some of the chicken that you had,
chicken was phenomenal.
I did the right dad thing.
Now,
the last thing you want to do is like go to a dinner and you hadn't seen somebody in a while, and then like, why aren't you eating?
Yeah, I just
because I just had a hamburger at 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
Why'd you eat a hamburger at 4? I could hear my mother in the
between you and I, because we're not on the air, right? Okay. You see, when you're in radio and you have all that free food around you, you invite your daughter to the tailgate so she can eat for free with you.
I would have done that, but she got home about 5:45. I still could have done that.
Yeah, you could have brought her. You could have ate for. You could have treated her to a fine tailgate meal.
Sure. And she's been to the Kreger showroom. She was there the day my wife bought one of the products that we got from.
You know, the Phillips family is invested into the Kreger showroom.
They haven't seen The Last of Us. I assure you. Graham already knows that.
Yes, that's 36,
and I think if you want me to just say this for a free plug for one of our other great sponsors that is sort of connected, I believe my wife has gotten in touch with Star at CHW about something that we're going to do at the house.
Very nice.
So again, I'm serious for a second. Like the people that advertise, I've had people say to me before, "Hey, do you really mean that about integrated media?" I'm like, "Bro,
right?
Yeah." So all these people do great work. So
that is the one thing, honestly. The people we talk about here in depth, our advertisers, We're not just making stuff
up, man. These are people. I mean, if I'm gonna talk about you, it's because I can talk about you.
Well, Kreger Showrooms, I'm dying to live there.
Yeah. Well, they don't want you to do that, too.
Yeah, they're kind of frowning upon me using the tub. For some reason,
I can understand that.
But yeah, I mean,
I can understand that.
Place
sorry,
is
let me
phenomenal.
turn the camera back on here on the YouTube feed.
Right,
Anyway, Terry will be out there, and again, I won't. And just real quick, I announced yesterday, not going to say anything, but for those who might not have heard, I did, and I'm not trying to be like, hey, he sounds really happy. I did announce that I'm about to go through some treatments for bladder cancer. I want to thank this audience for the immense outpouring in the last 24 hours. I truly cannot tell you how much that means to my family and to me. And again, I want to thank Terry and Tammy Odell, our general manager, for the kindness and support that they have shown. And again, so many of you that have reached out and some folks over on campus that have reached out. I humbly thank you. Don't know exactly everything that's going to happen to me, but I'll find out more. That's why I won't be here Friday. But hopefully, soon enough here, we know what's going on, because I told Terry today I know I'm going to miss some time, but I want to keep that to an absolute minimum because I like my job and I want to do my job. So I will be fighting this thing as hard as possible. But I do sincerely thank all of you. And a little later, I want to tell you about something that my great friend Will King, and I know Chris Clark has done some things with it too, are doing.
Yeah, Will King.
Did he call you?
That. He texted me.
Yeah, good. By the way, Ryan, to come back around to the news of the day, start bench drop. The Tony Vitello hire. If you have not heard, if you've just tuned in, Tony Vitello, very successful national championship and SEC championship coach for the Tennessee baseball program. Has today become the manager of the San Francisco Giants. And I keep saying it, Terry, it's not just some job. There are definitely tiers of managerial jobs and franchises in Major League Baseball. I put the San Francisco Giants in the top tier of Major League Baseball.
They're a level one franchise in the majors.
I mean, they're, Dodgers, Yankees, Braves, Giants. I put the Rangers up there with the amount of money they can spend. Cubs to some degree, just in terms of notoriety, maybe not success. I think the Phillies are up there.
I'll be honest
how
with
many
you.
are there? Is there another team in New York? There's the Yankees.
There's just the Yankees.
Okay.
There's only that minor league team that they have. Look, man, the Giants.
Are the Mets tier 1?
No. I mean, spending wise, yes.
The Sox are tier 1.
Yeah. What have the Mets done? I mean, they've made the playoffs a couple times, but they're known better for blowing their chance to go to the playoffs and making the playoffs. They're not tier 1 right now. I mean, they're tier 1 in their owners' deep pockets and tier 1 in their money that they can spend, but not production. No.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I don't think so.
I agree. But yeah, so Yankees, Sox, Braves, Giants, Dodgers, Cubs. Missing anybody? That's maybe like and Rangers. We said because I think again the Rangers can spend.
I'm trying to spin through my head of teams that have been successful who have all the resources to continue to be successful. Astros.
And Houston.
I'll give you that.
I'll give you
Astros in
Houston
there.
these days. That's fair. That's fair.
So that might be it. And it's a combination. Again, what we're saying is a combination of success on the field and resources off the field.
But
that's what we're talking about.
If the Rockies wanted to hire him, I don't know if he goes.
I might not. Because, again, you're being set up to fail.
To fail. Yeah,
now,
the Giants, you're not set up to fail.
All I've ever, and that's one of the things we always look at when these college coaches, because the success rate of a college coach to the professional level is not good, just like a professional coach to the college level is not good through like football and basketball.
If everybody was Jimmy
sports.
Johnson, this would be great.
And problem is, ready? It's Jimmy Johnson, and then there's Jimmy Johnson. And we're talking about guys who had never, ever coached in the NFL in any way, shape, or form, assistant, whatever, and then go to the NFL and coach.
Maybe Pete Carroll, I guess.
But he was, remember, he was.
But he was already in the NFL
Yeah, he
first.
was in the NFL, and then but ready, NFL to college.
Right.
I don't think
NFL
Pete had
to
ever
college
coached
to NFL.
in college.
Right.
Before. So the list is very short.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an interesting petri dish for Major League Baseball with a baseball coach from the collegiate ranks going to the professional level.
Ryan hit us on Twitter. How many games do you think it will be before his antics cause a bench-clearing brawl? Well, that's what we said, Ryan, because there were a few instances, including one very notable one, where Tennessee players were just flipping off the opponent while rounding the bases. Again, do that in the bigs, and what'd you say? You're eating the 99?
You're eating 99.
Yeah.
You know, it might be the first time a pitcher throws at a manager.
Yeah, and in college, you can't throw at somebody on purpose without severe penalty and punishment. In the bigs, the ump's like, hey,
stop that.
Don't do that again. I told you guys.
I'm just picturing this.
It's like two brothers fighting around the kitchen table. I told you guys to stop. And
go outside and beat each other
5 minutes later, they're doing it again.
I can see Aroldis Chapman toes the rubber. He kicks and deals and fires into the dugout at 102 at Tony Vitello.
But start bench drop, the Tony Vitello hire, emotions. And this is how you feel about it.
Yes.
Alphabetical order. Crazy. Risky. Savvy.
Interesting. I like it.
You know?
I like it. Because it can be all three.
And maybe that's why you're just going to, I think it's just which one are you starting? Which one comes first?
I know, because I mean you can make a case for all three.
We'll ask David Cloninger what he thinks, but we will get into the Gamecocks.
Future manager of the Atlanta Braves.
That's right, future Atlanta Braves manager David Cloninger. He said he put his name in the ring.
I love his whole idea.
His name in the cap.
Yep.
Not hat.
They don't call it a hat.
It's a cap.
It's cap.
But DC will join us on the other side. He was at the coordinator press conference. There's a lot of attention, obviously, for a variety of reasons, on Mike Shula. What did Mike say? We'll get DC's take when the postgame show comes back. jump on the guest line. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that on? Am I good now? Okay, I am on. For a second, I couldn't hear myself.
You're on.
But all right, it might just be me. One of those kind of things. David Cloninger with us on the guest line now as we get into a few Gamecock thoughts. And certainly want DC's take on the Tony Vitello news. I guess that does at least mean, DC, that Tony will not become the manager of the Atlanta Braves.
Well, what can I say? I mean, we got enough problems out there without adding a smug up beep in the skipper's chair. So, hey, fare thee well. I mean, anything that makes Tennessee fans mad is all right by me.
And by the way, well, let's just be clear. Vitello look, what DC gave as his whole vision of the Braves and how he would manage them, Vitello can't handle that.
No.
Vitello don't want any of that smoke, David.
No, exactly, man. He's going to find out real quick that all the rah-rah us against the world crap, that don't work through 162 games. Because basically, they don't have to listen to you.
Right. Exactly.
Like, I get paid whether we win or lose, buddy boy.
You know what we said, David? The thing about he has to adjust to is he's talking to guys who make more money than him and knows that if it comes down to them or him, it's him.
Mm-hmm. Well, and when he can't pick his own team, this is going to be fun to chuckle at. It's really going to be fun. So the main thing will be go ahead and start a 2 or 3 year radar about who might need a college baseball coach? What college might need a baseball coach in a couple of years when he returns with his tail between his legs?
Tennessee will just name a 3-year interim.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what will happen. David, you were down at the coordinator press conferences today. Obviously, lots of focus on Mike Shula. Why don't we just start there with some of your thoughts on what did and didn't happen on Saturday?
Well, obviously, Jake, no coach is ever going to say, hey, I messed up. You're never going to do that. You don't want to admit that you were wrong, even when you say hindsight being 20/20, maybe we could have tried something different. So I think the questions that came to him were to the point, which is like, look, man, it didn't seem to be working. Why'd you keep running between the tackles? And it was, we hit that run early in the game, and, we thought we might be hitting it again. Like, oh, okay. And then, how do you put it? If something is working or not working early, you don't want to abandon it in the fear that it won't work late. So, very vain, in the same vein of his other press conferences, very calm, very lucid. Just not really directly answering anything. I know he doesn't want to give anything away, but what's there to give away at this point? I mean, the fact is that the first drive against Alabama might look pretty nice. There's going to be some eye candy. There might be some plays that work, and then they won't work the rest of the game because it'll be back to the same dull, plodding offense. Some of that can't be helped because your line issues, but a lot of it can. And you saw with Oklahoma, here's how you scheme around having a beat-up offensive line and a quarterback who's hurt. And Oklahoma worked that. Lenore Sellers obviously isn't hurt, but that offensive line doesn't give him much choice. And USC kept trying the same thing last week, and it's just running into a brick wall. So who knows? Maybe we'll see something miraculous this weekend, and maybe we won't. But you just got to go out there and find out.
David, does it feel like, or tell me which way you go with this? Do you feel like that it just, like Shula comes in, like you said, that scripted first drive or two, and they move the ball down the field, and they're doing bootlegs, and they're doing this and that, and they're running jet sweeps or whatever the case. And then it seems like all the stuff on that first script, you very rarely go back to it. Does it feel like that? Like Shula comes into this game with a game plan, he's got it in front of him, and by damn, he's going to do this plan. Whatever's working or not working, now I'm doing my plan because I was awake all night and I had a lot of coffee, and I'm going to do this thing because it took me a whole week to get it. It feels like when I watch it, that's what I see. What do you see?
Well, from last week, that's pretty much what I saw, and what Shane Beamer pretty much confirmed after the game. And I asked him, Shane, so many runs in between. Like I said, we made up our mind we were going to run the ball today. Like, first of all, why would you think that's a good idea when you know your line can't block and this is one of the best defenses in the country? I mean, explain that one to me. And second, when it was obvious it wasn't working, then you would have so many plays where it's an obvious passing down and say, okay, they're coming. This line can't hold them off of you. You're either going to have to rely on Lenore Sellers' scrambling ability. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Or you're going to have to cook up some intermediate short pass routes so maybe he can get the ball out quick and get it to one of those guys, get the ball out of his hand. And what do I see? 3 receivers taking off on vertical routes. I'm like, dude, you know, you're killing yourself here. What are you doing? So it's stuff like that, because as I told you guys on the program, probably the last 4 games before this, I'd gotten off of Shula's back. So I thought, you know what? He didn't recruit that line, and he doesn't coach that line personally. He came in here, and that was what he had. So, and I did see some evidence. He's trying to work around it. He's trying to get to the edges. He's trying to do this, trying to that, trying to work past the obvious shortcoming. And then you get last week, where it's just the same stuff. And frankly, guys, this goes for all levels of football. I don't know if I've seen a possession that has 3rd and goal at the 1-inch line. The nose of the ball is touching the goal line. I'm like, all right, you got 2 plays here, and they both seem pretty obvious. You hand the ball to your 240-pound quarterback, line him up under center, and put somebody behind him and say, guys, run right into my butt and push me right into the end zone. And you got 2 cracks to do it. And here he comes out in shotgun and hands off for a 3-yard loss. Like, wow. To their credit, they scored on that drive, to their credit. But that had even got to that point. Yeah. Like, come on, guys.
Well, David, yesterday, one of the words I used was puzzling, and you've already touched on a lot of it. I just wonder, Terry and I were, it's somewhat of a rhetorical question or a series of questions on, you know, it's a chicken or egg kind of thing, no pun intended. I mean, is it because the line can't do enough? Is it because a lot of things have gotten into Lenore's head? Is it because it doesn't seem like the receiver and the receiving core has ever really gotten going? Is it because there's not a tailback of the caliber of Raheem Sanders back there? I mean, is it yes? But I'm with you. It felt puzzling to continue to dip into what seemed like a dry well.
Exactly. And the fact is, I think you can take all those lists. To me, it all starts up front. And if you can't block, you can't open holes for your running backs. You can't get a set scheme that you want to run, which, you know, now with Sean Elliott in charge, maybe that's inside zone, maybe that's not. And then it's like, if you're going to run that, then you need to have the proper back in there to do it, which to me is Matt Fuller. Nothing against the other 2, but he's the kind of guy that's not going to go backwards. He's going to get you something, even if it's like, I'm not losing anything on this yardage. It starts there to me. You obviously see that Lenore Sellers may be seeing some phantom pressure up there, and why shouldn't he be? Because he's getting rushed on every snap. And for the receivers, I'm like, I don't know how they're supposed to develop if you keep telling them run straight down the field when you know you can't block that long. I mean, let's go back to the backyard here, fellas. You know, you get down there and say, square in, you go long. They're doing that except for the square in parts. I'm like, you got to help yourself out, guys, especially against a great defense. So it was very, very puzzling. It was very mystifying. The goal line stands really just exacerbated the point. I mean, I think on the second play, on the first one, where they had kind of a play running toward off left tackle, there was a lane there. But Faison was the running back, and he kind of hesitated just for a millisecond, and then the hole closed up. I'm like, see, that's where you need Matt Fuller in the game. He'd have blown somebody out the way. Maybe he scores, maybe he doesn't, but at least he gets something close. And, of course, that drive became no point. So we'll see what happens, but it's hard to win when you don't score. And it's really hard to score when you don't have a line to set you up for that. I know they've been injured, but the fact is when they were healthy, they weren't playing that well.
That's fair.
Yeah, real quick, David, in our last minute, that possession at the end of the half, man, when you make a 9-yard throw under the sticks and your dude can't turn upfield to get a first down and you run out the clock and you're in possible field goal range. Give me a little thought on that, my friend.
Well, first of all, I realized he called the timeout before he saw Nick Sharp limping off the field, which would have stopped the clock. That's fine. That happens. It's just you had one timeout left, so why'd you call it anyway when you had not gotten the first down, when you needed to save a timeout for maybe a hurry-up field goal? The explanation didn't make much sense. But it was like, look, maybe he was the only guy open, but that's where you're talking to your quarterback. Hey, you've got to get this somewhere near the boundary and give your receiver a chance to get out of bounds. 3 straight throws in the middle of the field to a guy who caught the ball and is tough, but he's not exactly the speedy type. So it was just a disaster all around. And you hope for some weekly improvement, but you'll definitely be paying attention to what comes after the first drive this week.
Always appreciate you, sir. We'll talk more about the ball game this weekend coming up. But DCPNC on Twitter, postandcourier.com. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you, my man.
Sounds good, fellas. Thanks for having me.
See you now.
That's our good friend David Cloninger. We'll hear from Clayton a little bit later on, too, because Clayton's got to stop what has become a rather high-powered offense. Is Ty Simpson?
Man,
I mean, I think he's vaulting
feels like right
near
now,
the top of the Heisman.
he keeps going. He's going to be
list.
in New York, sitting there, seeing if his name's called, and you'll hear his name in the first round of the NFL draft. Maybe the way it's going, he's pushing up draft boards too, man.
We'll revisit Start Bench Drop, and Terry will open the vault when the postgame show comes back. 11 minutes in front of 4 o'clock. Wednesday afternoon. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Post-game show rolling on. Thanks again, and as always, to our good friend David Cloninger, potentially still the future manager.
I like his offer. You win, you get paid. You lose, you don't get paid.
Yeah, and David said he'd do it for like $200,000.
To me, that's a deal right there.
I mean, I would at least, if I were David, I would have at least, I know it's a player thing because managers don't have a minimum, but I would have at least said I want the major league minimum.
Yeah, for whatever the average manager makes in Major League Baseball, just give me the average.
What do you think that is?
Major League managers don't get paid as much as you think.
They really don't.
That's one of the things you and I have had this conversation. The de-emphasizing of the Major League manager by baseball is, again, one of the problems with the game is basically the GM now wants to manage the team.
Yeah.
And they hire a bunch of yes men in the analytic department and the GM run the team. But you know what's so funny? A guy like, again, there's still hope because a guy like Snit and some of these other managers who are, like Dave Roberts manages the game.
I was going to say,
Even though Andrew Friedman is a very analytically savvy general manager or president of baseball ops, you know what he does? He lets Dave Roberts manage the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I give him props, but they're few and far between, Jay. Like could you see like Billy Martin and Earl Weaver and Bobby Cox trying to manage today with some of this nonsense from front offices?
Yeah, seeing you want me to look at what percentages? What is analytics?
Right. Hey, dork, get out of my office.
And I hate to admit it, but you know who is a really good manager too? I think is Rob Thompson of the Phillies.
Old school guy.
Yeah.
Old school guy. You know what? And you never know where you're going to find your manager, Jay. He's just like sitting around. He was just like sitting around, like watering flowers or something in the with the grounds crew. And they said, "Hey, dude, you want to manage?" And Thompson's been really good.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah,
I'll do it.
Yeah, ready for a little vault action?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, this day, sir, we got two. First of all, this day in 2016, this historic moment happened.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. The Cubs win the World Series. Brian makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7
8-7 in Game 7.
Yeah.
This was a phenomenal World Series with the Cubs and the Indians. A great series.
It was, man, and I remember watching that. I remember my wife is sort of a 50-50 Braves-Cubs fan because, like so many American youths, you had both superstations.
Mm-hmm.
But she's always had an affinity for the Cubs. I enjoyed watching Cub games on GN, but I mean, I just obviously who I pull for. But but that was cool. And again, the Cubs. That's the thing. If we talk a lot about it, the Cubs are like the lovable losers, and everybody likes them. And you go to Wrigley, and you have a beer and a brat, and like, hey, I went to Wrigley. Did the Cubs win? I don't know.
I don't know
it's almost like a minor league experience, right? It's like I don't know.
I went to Wrigleyville,
but it was fun.
Got ripped.
Yeah,
but I don't know who scored. Well, I can't tell you the score.
Yeah,
I don't know who won.
Like in Ferris Bueller, when the principal walks into the bar.
Right.
Yeah, who's winning? The Bears. So, by the way, fun fact. Before I know you have one more vault to get to. This is almost a trick question. You know who the Cubs are playing in the game on TV?
I forget
in
Ferris Bueller. I can't remember.
I'll give you one guess.
Braves.
The Atlanta Braves.
Look at you. Yeah. All right, ready? Yeah. Very nice pull by you. This day in 2005, this song was voted the best song in history, in the history of the Eurovision Song Contest. 31 countries across Europe voted during a special show in Copenhagen. It was the 50th anniversary, and this song in 2005 was picked the greatest song in the world, or at least in Europe.
Okay, Waterloo.
Well, ABBA.
You know what, man? Again, I know what people sometimes think of me and my musical taste and say, oh, you're just a jam band guy. I'm really not. I am a jam band guy through and through. But I like everything, just about. There's a couple things I don't. Again, like today's modern bro country, I don't do that. Thrash metal, I don't do that.
But I can't understand what they're singing.
Yeah,
like
well,
the old school hard thrash metal.
Well, again, and but these people are immensely talented.
Stupid talented. Yeah.
And it's really fun to listen to. Now, I can't, I've never been to see Mamma Mia.
I will never. I won't.
I hear it's fun.
But
I hear it's fun.
ABBA is, like you said, very talented.
Listen,
man.
I mean, when you go like, oh, that's ABBA. Oh.
You know what that's like? That's like the Bee Gees.
Yeah, it's like hit after hit. And everything's top 10, man.
Oh, yeah. They were printing their own money back in the day. So Waterloo.
And then Mamma Mia came out. They were like, hey, look, a new money printer.
I love this.
Hour 2 coming up. All right, so the end-of-year extravaganza came and went last weekend, but still a great opportunity for you to get into Griffin Pools and Spas and make your life a whole lot more relaxing and comfortable. You know, you can still talk to them about getting a great in-ground pool done now. You can still get that thing. In fact, this is a really good time to do it, as we head into the fall, because you'll be ahead of the spring rush. But maybe instead you would like to unwind in your own personal spa or hot tub. And Griffin Pools and Spas knows that relaxation is a key part of life. You'll love owning your own spa. Nothing like it when you come home after a long day. Maybe even like those times when you're like on vacation and you think like, gosh, I need a vacation for my vacation. Well, just do that in your own backyard. Get into the showroom in Lexington, steps away from the Lake Murray Dam. See what they can do for you. And learn more at griffinpoolsandspas.com. Then invite us over. 4 o'clock, Wednesday. Welcome back in. Hour 2 of the post-game show coming at you from the Herndon Chevy Studios in downtown Columbia alongside Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. We'll get back into some Gamecock football for you, some sound from Shane Beamer coming up in just a little bit, and looking around at some other things going on in college football as well, including maybe the next opening. I think Luke Fickell of Wisconsin got the dreaded "he is our coach" vote of confidence kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, we're going forward with Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
Well,
yeah.
two shutout. I don't know. Maybe they get shut out again. I don't know, but they go to Oregon this weekend.
Well, they might not get shut out because Oregon might end up putting the duck in to play defense at some point in
he's
the
good.
fourth quarter. Don't disrespect. Or the guy on the motorcycle might play in the fourth quarter.
Sure.
But Oregon, I have a feeling that Oregon is going to boat race those guys.
What's the spread? I'll look.
30, 40, 55.
I bet it is in the 20s. Hang on.
Yeah, I know it's 25, 26.
Let's see. I'm sorry. Let me use the computer here if I can get it to go. Here we go. Oh my. What'd you
30?
say? 26?
I want 26.
You know what? Put on the Price is Right music real quick.
Let me grab it.
Hang on. All right, we're gonna do this.
Hang in there.
All right, and we're gonna start where you were a minute ago. All right, so
okay, here we go. Where's it at?
this will be we can have bonus game show music today.
All right.
Yeah, that's not
What is
it.
that? Get away from
Who's
me.
that guy?
I don't know who he is.
There it
we
is.
go.
Okay. I know it's not probably the same game, but it's close enough. All right, so you said we're thinking 26.
I went 26 out the gate.
Higher.
30.
Higher.
35.
Lower.
34 and a half.
Lower.
33 and a half?
33 and a half.
Wow.
In a Big Ten game. And it's Wisconsin. It's not Rutgers.
Wisconsin. Right. It's not Maryland.
Purdue. It's not Maryland.
Purdue.
And it's not the old Indiana.
Look.
33 and a half.
I won't lie, man. I thought Luke Fickell was a good hire.
I think he was.
After what he did at Cincinnati.
I think so.
And you get Cincinnati, the college football playoff, not the Bengals, University of Cincinnati. I'm like, man, Fickell is going to go to Wisconsin, and he's going to do well.
Yeah.
And it has been the opposite of well.
That's a good way. I think he's. Yeah, I saw his. I don't have it in front of me. I didn't write it down, but his conference record is poor.
Abysmal.
It's poor.
Yeah.
And this year they are 0-4.
It's not good, man.
Badgers.
And that used to be an upper level program in the Big Ten for a while, not just for a day, but multiple coaches did well.
Nobody's Ohio State, but they for a bit there they were at that Michigan, Iowa, Penn State level of concern. And
played for a Big Ten title a few times. I mean,
been to the Rose Bowl back when you do that.
I mean, Barry Alvarez got that thing going, and again, multiple coaches had success.
I mean, even as recently as when Taylor was there, they were solid. I mean, how many years has he been in the league now? Because he's the best. Is he the best running back in the NFL?
Right
jumping
now,
all around.
Probably,
Maybe
yeah.
So, huh?
I mean, Saquon Barkley has been totally shut down this year.
Yeah.
The Eagles have also shut down Saquon Barkley. Forget about the defenses. Jonathan Taylor has been the best back in the NFL this year.
Strong.
Yeah, so just Wisconsin used to be good, man.
Yeah. But we'll get into a few other CFB college football things for you coming up in just a bit. Again, news of the day, Tony Vitello, the very successful University of Tennessee baseball coach, will become the manager of the San Francisco Giants. Again, and as Terry said, it's not been officially announced by the Giants, but Tennessee has both as a baseball program and AD Danny White have separately put out statements saying, thanks, Tone.
That's what I think is so funny, is the Giants haven't said anything, and Tennessee's already let it out of the bag. Everybody in Tennessee, go get him, Tony. Good luck.
Real quick here, before we come back around to Gamecock football, a little bit sort of Carolina basketball here, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Dawn Staley's team is entitled to anything, and Dawn knows they're not, right? But Texas was voted to win the Southeastern Conference by the league's coaches, and I say this a little tongue-in-cheek, but did the other coaches poke the bear here? I mean, it's almost like, shouldn't you just go ahead and again, I'm kidding a little bit, y'all. like, let's just vote for South Carolina. But the one thing that you probably don't want to do, and I'm dead serious about this, is have a coach and competitor like Dawn have added fuel. So maybe they didn't poke the bear, Terry, but I'm like, okay. And by the way, Texas was voted number 1. Carolina was 2, LSU 3, Oklahoma 4, Tennessee 5. And a very good, I think, Mississippi program is 6th for what it's worth. But when I saw that, I was like, okay, like I get it, But the last 3 times that these two schools have played, Carolina has been better in 2 of them and by a lot. I don't know. I get it. Texas is loaded. Vic Schaefer's great. I'm not saying how in the world. It's a preseason poll, so I don't really give to you know what. Right. But that is
motivation.
However
Absolutely.
artificial, and again, this isn't made up.
No, this is the coaches, Jay. This is not the media.
Right. So that's Dawn looking at her fellow coaches going, okay.
All right, you want some of this?
Okay.
You want some of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Look, and we don't know, by the way, we don't get who voted for whom or how many people got first place votes or anything. It's just the SEC. And I'm looking at the SEC website. It's a 1 through 16. So we don't know that Texas got X and Carolina got Y.
And so if you're South Carolina, if you're Dawn, because you're looking for all the motivation in the world coming on, and look, part of your motivation is what happened in the championship game, right? Yeah. And so that's exhibit A of your motivation. And now B is, our own league. The league we have basically dominated for how long?
A decade.
And you're going to pick a second. And look, that's all over the locker room, by the way, the practice facility.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know either. Okay, let's just take, because we knew well in advance that Ashlyn Watkins was going to take this year off after her major surgery. And now, of course, we learned a few weeks ago that Chloe Kitts will miss the season with a major injury. But and this vote was taken this week. And I don't know, Terry, if Chloe is healthy, I don't know if it makes a difference. I'm not sure.
And this is nothing against Chloe Kitts, because obviously she plays an important role in the success of South Carolina women's basketball. But you have so much depth on this basketball team. Yeah, you lose Chloe Kitts, that stinks. But you got Joyce Edwards. You've got other bigs from last year. You got holdovers. You got big came in through the transfer portal. It's not like you don't have quality depth in the front court to make up for the loss of Chloe Kitts. And Joyce Edwards was the leading scorer last year.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would have made a difference. I don't. But again, does losing Kitts and losing Edwards hurt you? Sure. You and I had this conversation. They do a lot of the little things and the dirty work that don't really go front and center that are important to win championships. But you still have a lot of depth, Jay.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. All I know is this. Nice work, coaches.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it, like I say, I was like, okay. Like, it's almost like vote against Carolina at your own risk. Like I say, and Texas is great. There's no question. Like I say, I'm not, and I'm never one of those. I love that on Twitter, like in the preseason football poll. How could you leave my school? Or how is my school where, and it happens all across the country. And I'm like, I hadn't played anything yet.
It doesn't really matter, especially now.
And look, Madison Booker is I think it's fair. She was voted the preseason player of the year. That's fair. By the way, Carolina, you just mentioned Joyce. Joyce and transfer Tania Latson are South Carolina's representatives on the first team. Carolina, by the way, and the SEC likes to do 8 players on each team, the first and second team. Carolina does not have a representative on the second team. For what it's worth, Malaysia Fulwiley, who is now an LSU player, is on the second team preseason vote. But Flau'jae Johnson and Michaela Williams of LSU are on the first team. So, look, again, got to go play a bunch of games. Like you said, Terry, Carolina's loaded. And I think when you look at the roster, Adele Tack's going to have a bigger role. Miriam Dowda is certainly going to have a bigger role down low.
Remember last year they thought she was going to have a bigger role than she did. She was just kind of learned her lay of the land.
Right. So, she'll get ramped up. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. That's all.
And let me throw this out to you.
Why give Dawn Staley extra
And
motivation.
here's why it's really interesting to me, because the coaches, it's your peers, your brethren,
If it was the media,
brotherhood.
Dawn probably would be like, eh.
But when your own folks,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's my thing.
And maybe Texas does win the SEC. I don't know. Maybe LSU wins the SEC. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't want to say I don't care. I care, but I just look at it more from, again, like as we've been saying, the extra motivational standpoint. All these men and women that coach in the SEC everywhere are huge competitors. But man, Dawn,
I know.
there isn't a bigger. All right, is she the biggest competitor? I don't know. Is there a bigger competitor than Dawn Staley? No, man.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I mean.
is there an equal? Maybe. Is Kim an equal? Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, maybe.
All I know is this, man. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's one that I think, like, all right, here, let's go show them who we are. So we'll see. Anyway, start bench drop today. Again, the Tony Vitello hire. Tony will become the manager of the San Francisco Giants. As I keep saying, it's not just any managerial job. He's not leaving for the Twins or the Rockies or the Diamondbacks, or not to disparage those programs or franchises, but he's going to the Giants, man. That's a whole different animal.
Oh, absolutely.
But our start bench drop is emotional reaction from you as a college baseball fan, or just a baseball fan, or just a sports fan. Alphabetical order. Crazy, risky, savvy. So I want you to start, bench, drop those emotions around the Tony Vitello hire.
It's going to be interesting to see what folks say, especially because Vitello, not what you call the most loved figure here in Columbia.
No, the people love him. No, no. He's like a big teddy bear, man.
Yeah, sure. That's what I was thinking.
He's got a great rep.
Now, when you get that teddy bear from Build-A-Bear, does it have a middle finger that's up? That teddy bear?
No, but it has. You push his belly.
And it goes up. Double bird. Double bird goes up.
The Vitello bear.
How romantic.
He's got that scraggly beard.
Exactly. Little Tennessee hat.
That'd be awesome, actually.
Oh, man.
All right, that's good. I needed that. Thank you. All right, we'll come back, let you hear. Man, we're going to have to go from laughter to maybe things that aren't quite as fun.
That's why we have a break to reset ourselves.
We'll talk a little Carolina football as the post-game show rolls on.
Checking the traffic this afternoon. Accidents, Bluff Road near Pineview Road. Also, accident reported Decker Boulevard at 2 Notch Road, Divine Street near Woodrow Street. I-26 westbound between Sunset Boulevard and St. Andrews Road, there's slow traffic. Accident reported Monticello Road at I-20, 2 Notch Road at Sparkleberry Lane.
All right, welcome back in. I just realized, Terry Ford, live on the radio, I don't have a cut list over here. I have one on my email, so I'll get that. But welcome back in. Nice to see everybody. Yeah, no, you're on.
Good to see you. I got to turn my mic up so you can hear me.
But we'll get a cut list for some sound. I just did not get a chance to put the start bench drop on Twitter. I'll do that here.
You're slacking, man. Let's get this thing together.
I'm sorry. Momentarily, I'm getting
this
there.
thing together, man.
But I'm getting the great Tyler Head's cut list here. Can we go to number 11 real quick?
Hold on. Yes, we can.
Because I know
it's the one where we're talking about unhappy fans.
Yeah, the noise. Yeah, that one. This is Shane yesterday, understanding that there is unrest out there.
Same. I mean, I'd love to say they're, grown men and don't look on social media, and hopefully they don't. I mean, I picked up my phone a couple times this week out of habit. I'm like, nope, I'm not even gonna try. And I don't know. These guys are pros. This isn't their first rodeo. There's going to be criticism. I saw a great article, a great quote from Nick Sirianni, the head coach of the Eagles, that he told a reporter the other day after they started out the season and then they lost a couple of games and the masses were not happy in Philadelphia, and it was kind of along those lines. If you're listening to that or you're allowing it to clutter your mind, you're not doing the things you need to do to get it right. And if any of our coaches are worried about the outside noise, they're not doing everything in their power to fix it. Because me, scrolling on social media to see what people are saying about me is not helping me get it right for our players. And why poison my brain or thoughts with that? And that's what I would encourage to the coaches. But it's a great thing too, in the sense that you want to be somewhere where people are passionate, and you want to be somewhere where people have high expectations. There were high expectations for us last year because of what we did. There were high expectations for us because we were 2 points away from being in the college football playoff, and we haven't met those expectations. And the fans should be unhappy about that, and I don't blame them. And you want to be somewhere where people are passionate and do have those expectations, and that's what we have here at Carolina. And I'm, grateful for that, and I wish those people could see our players and the way and coaches and the way they hurt and how they're working, and ultimately as a leader, it's my job to do the things we need to do to get it right, and that's what we're trying to do.
I certainly don't believe that this fan base or this program are anywhere to the point of colliding with a feeling of apathy, Terry. And we did see that towards the end of the Muschamp era. But the one thing I think more than any that I know you've talked about it, because you've really been here in almost the same amount of time that Shane has been coaching this football team. And those of us who've been here longer have seen the same things, is the seeming inability to just and to get it right up front on offense. And even getting it right doesn't mean that this, with 16 schools in the SEC, that you have to be, top three.
Right.
You could listen, you could be in the second half of the analytical measurements in the SEC and offensive line play and still be amongst the best in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
But South Carolina's not.
No.
And why that is a puzzler. I know that's my buzzword of the week, puzzling, or any form of it. And now you just wonder for Sean, who, in my opinion at least, is the most proven offensive line coach. Yeah, again, getting some things adjusted quickly is doable. Expecting major turnaround this season, I think, is it doable? Sure, in the theoretical sense. Is it realistic? No, not especially not with the amount of injury. And again, it's like, is it an odd year thing? And I mean that, like, 23 injuries everywhere. 24, man, you had a pretty good run of injury-free play.
The offensive line was together pretty much the whole year last year.
Still, I think, gave up too many pressures on your quarterback, but your quarterback bailed you out on a regular basis.
You bring that up because there's a couple of really good deep dives on Gamecock Central. I'm going to bring up one of them here in a minute. Everybody Will's at it again, or Wes at it again.
Wes or Will? The analytics?
I think it's Will this time.
Yeah, Will.
Let me double check and make sure, because I got a Wes article and a Will article and a Chris article up. Yeah, Will's at it again with analytics. He points out something fantastic in a second. But if you look at the Shane Beamer era, the sack rate is among the worst in the country.
Yeah, in the nation.
It's just so it's been a thing. And last year, the offensive line last year was below average if you look at the year in totality. Got better as the year went along, to be fair to them. But Linares Sellers doing the Houdini and Rocket Sanders just breaking tackles made the numbers better than the offensive line would grade out, whether eye test, analytics, scouting, whatever. So you kind of came out of last year still struggling with the offensive line, but it looked better because you were fourth in the SEC in rushing. And that was because of Rocket Linares. Yeah. Individual, and no offense to the guys up front. So really the offensive line has struggled every year. You get sacked way too much. There's way too many pressures. Your run game, last year you had two guys who lifted it, but by the offensive line, it's been struggling to win up front. It just has. And that's the thing that's really held back this program. I mean, even last year, you can make, you won 9 games. Well, if you had offensive line even better, what could you have done in some of those games you lost? I don't know. And this year, to the point of it all, has been 2 big numbers that Will has. One, and I won't deep dive into success rate. I mean, nerds like me love that stuff. But it's basically success rate per play. And you got to be near 50%. And South Carolina's nowhere near. It's they are next to last in the country, I believe, in success rate on play-to-play offensively. The other one, though, this is so interesting, getting the ball on the other side of the field in opponent's territory. Will, ready for this? South Carolina in SEC play has 24 trips inside the 40. Opponents have 25. So you're getting there the same amount.
Right.
That's good, right?
Right.
On those 24 trips, the Gamecocks have 58 points, 2.42 points per opportunity. They've allowed 111, 4.44. So basically, the other team is scoring 2 more points per opportunity than you.
Oh, they've doubled you.
Guess what?
Yeah.
That's not good, Jack.
Yeah, they've doubled you.
So you're getting there just as much. You're just not, once you get there, you're not producing. And when Will breaks down all the numbers, there's 5 things, and again, not that Billy Connolly of ESPN Plus is the Lord and Master of what you should do in football, but Connolly has 5 things that win games. South Carolina is doing fine in 3 of them. Success rate and scoring opportunity, they're near the bottom in the country, and it's killing them.
Yeah.
Killing them, Jay. These 2 things, and Will says, if those 2 things were average, you might have a 5-2 football team right now. But those 2 things are so bad. It's killing them.
And that last point, and again, you don't want it to just be average, but that's the point I was making to you ahead of those things that get clearly illustrated. Like if that's not asking too much, it feels like, and I think that's where fans are, and that comes back around to what I was going to say. Look, expecting a massive turnaround from a proven O-line coach like Sean Elliott during this season is, again, most likely what I would call unrealistic. Again, theoretically,
it's like Disney movie stuff, right?
Yeah,
to be fair.
right.
Hey,
look at that all of a sudden. And again, maybe they will make some turnarounds.
Emilio Estevez stars is Sean Elliott.
But how much of it is about finding ways, as David was pointing out in the last hour, David Cloninger, let's utilize what we have rather than thinking that eventually. I mean, it just felt, my way of putting it, not David's. Kind of like definition of insanity this past Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you keep doing the same thing over and over, and expecting a different result? Because there's just nothing to show you that there's a different result on the horizon. I understand the theory. I understand the point of wanting to do it, and that you had some success, but not nearly enough. And, but looking ahead, and I'm not trying to put a damper on the rest of this season, but maybe that's the turnaround that you need is, okay, now we have Sean. Let's go, because you're recruiting at a good level up front, at least according to the recruiting services, right? Now it's time for a full year of, hey, this is how you play offensive line in this league, because we saw it when Sean was here before.
Right.
I mean, those offenses, they were fun to watch. So, it's just, I feel like that's the thing that could cure so many ills all across the program, but it's just not ever been there really for this team.
Yeah, and I guess my question is this: the one thing, look, not everybody did backflips over Dow Logan's offense in his 2 years. His first year again, the offensive line was just
exactly.
It was blown up.
Right.
But last year, the one thing that Dow said, and we were talking to him. We did the show we did a segment with him. He talked to us off the air. The one thing that Dow kept saying is the college game is different than the pro game. The hashes are wider. You got to take advantage of the space and the grass you get, and you've got to look at you. It's not the pro game, and you can't call it like the pro game. You can't build the offense like the pro game, and I agree with that 7 billion%.
Sure.
Do we have the same thought process now? You know what I'm saying, Jay?
Yeah. It just feels like there's a lot of what Carolina does that's designed to set up the play action pass.
I just, there's so many things with this
That's simplified
at quarterback.
Yeah.
There's so many creative things you could do with that workspace, if you know what I'm saying, that I don't think are being done.
I agree. So. I agree. All right, we'll get back into some other college football things for you. Plus, I know I'm really happy about what my Broncos did the other day, but there's fallout from that.
Yeah.
I want to touch on that for you, too. We'll explain when the postgame show comes back. Integrated media ready to help you watch whatever you want to watch better than ever. But it's a lot more than just your home theater. I like to explain that from time to time about what the integrated folks do, because it can be about your security system. They can come in and install cameras in the interior and exterior of your home. They can put those things together with your home theater system on one app. They can also do that with your thermostat and your lighting. You can have a true smart home with the integrated folks. Maybe you're moving, love your equipment, but you want to make sure that it's done right when you go to your new home theater. They can come, take it down, package it accordingly, take it over to the new place, put it back up, make sure everything is humming along, good to go. Maybe you want an outdoor system, just like your indoor, that looks and sounds fantastic, but that is built to be outside. Integrated Media does that for you, too. It's so much more than just home theater. It is full home technology. 803-948-8327. Get them into your home. Integrated Media.
All right, our first check on the roads this afternoon. We've got accidents. Pine Bluff. What am I talking about? Jeez. Bluff Road near Pineview. I'm taking Pineview and Bluff and making Pine Bluff. Bluff Road at Pineview Drive. Decker Boulevard at Two Notch Road. Divine Street at Woodrow Street. I-26 westbound between Sunset Boulevard and St. Andrews Road. Slow traffic between those two exits. Another accident reported I-77 southbound at I-26 exit 1. Monticello Road at I-20, Two Notch Road at Sparkleberry Lane. We'll come back, continue our conversation about Gamecocks football and the offensive woes and a little giant Bronco drama. That's coming up next here on the postgame show. Jay and Terry here on the game.
$25 minutes in front of 5 o'clock here on this Wednesday afternoon. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Post-game show rolling on. Start bench drop today featuring I put in quotes, emotional reaction to the San Francisco Giants hiring Tony Vitello as their new manager. Tony, of course, the very successful head baseball coach at Tennessee. Crazy, risky, savvy. And maybe that's really like not just your reaction, but what you think of Buster Posey, who, what is he, like director of baseball operations?
He runs the organization now, basically.
He's not really the GM. I think it's kind of like, because Alex Anthopoulos isn't really the Braves GM. He runs the baseball side of things.
Right, and maybe Posey's the director of baseball operations. They all have different fancy titles. Like Andrew Friedman is like the grand poobah of everything that is the Dodgers or whatever, and the Water Buffalo Lodge.
Well, remember Al Davis was the manager of the general partner.
Yes.
True story.
So funny. So they've all got kookies. But Buster Posey runs the show.
But at least Al Davis was the owner.
Yes.
But he called himself the manager of the general partner.
That was so good. That was so Al Davis, by the way. So Al Davis.
And don't say like manager of the general partners, Jay? No. Manager of the general partners.
There was one partner.
Yeah.
And the guy Al Davis managed was who, Jay?
Al Davis.
So it made it so good.
Yeah. By the way, for apropos of little, I was looking this up today in terms of the FPI, because I noticed that in the FPI, the Big Ten has a top three: Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon. Mm-hmm. Of the top 25 in the FPI, Terry, would you like to guess what conference has the most?
Oh, pick me.
Okay.
Pick me. Pick me.
Go.
Pick me.
Terry Ford.
Pac-12. No, obviously.
R.I.P. Pac-12.
SEC.
SEC has 11. That's correct.
Because it had 10 in the AP top 25, if I remember.
Right. And the FPI, again, a measurement of how good you're supposed to be. I'll be honest with you. Here's the thing. Penn State and Auburn are in the FPI top 25.
Man, that tells you a little something.
Just saying.
Now, does the SEC have 3 or 4 in the top 10, or maybe even more?
I think they have 4. Let me go back to it here, because I just wrote down the number. I looked at it earlier, so I'm not like just making this up. I think they have I think both the Big Ten and SEC have 4. Yeah, Carolina. SEC has Carolina's not there. Alabama, Georgia, Texas, and Texas A&M.
Now, it's interesting Texas is in there, because in the AP top 25, they're barely in the poll.
But again, their FPI number suggests they are a much stronger football team than 5-2. But they are 5-2.
Yeah, they got that nice win over Oklahoma.
Yeah,
to give them props.
The Big Ten also has 4. Again, they have the top 3. Would you want to guess who the 4th Big Ten team in the current FPI Football Power Index is? The
Michigan?
4th. No.
Okay.
We'll go one more so that we don't just like keep doing this till you run through the whole roster of the Big Ten.
We have because we have Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State.
Yeah.
Oh, Illinois,
Southern California.
I totally forgot that they've been decent this year. Their offense was ranked number 1 in Billy Connolly's SP Plus, the analytic deal.
Yep.
So, but their defense, not so great, but their offense has been phenomenal.
They are number 8. Illinois, by the way, is not in the top 25 of the FPI.
Okay.
Right now, the Fighting Brett Bielema's are number 27.
Not really going to fight about that.
So close. So anyway, SEC has 11. Big Ten has 8. Big 12 has just 3. ACC has only 2.
Wow.
You want to guess who the ACC ones are?
Miami.
Okay.
Am I right on that one?
You are. And then the other one is the 25th team in the
Georgia Tech or Virginia?
No and no.
Louisville or SMU?
Louisville. Georgia Tech is right behind them. Isn't that kind of interesting?
That is interesting.
And who'd you say Virginia? Now, Virginia's way down. Let's see. Virginia is currently number 45.
That doesn't surprise me.
In the RPI.
They're not a numbers
FPI,
darling.
Excuse me, FPI.
Yeah, they're not an analytic numbers darling.
The Big 12 has the 3, as I said. Texas Tech, Utah, and BYU. What is a Ute? And Notre Dame is in there. So there you go. That's how the breakdown is of the top 25 teams. But again, numbers 1, 2, and 3 this week, based on however it is that ESPN's computers do this. Ohio State, Oregon, and Indiana.
It's interesting. Oregon's ahead of Indiana, despite the fact Indiana beat them head to head.
I know. Well,
Oregon's
there again, I think this has
it's
a lot.
It's just numbers, man.
Yeah, and there's the formula, and it has a lot to do. There's all kinds of crap in here.
Make your head explode.
Yeah, that's why sometimes I don't get into all that.
It's like the math problem in Goodwill Hunting. Same thing.
Oh man, I've told you before. My oldest daughter is now engaged to a guy who's computer science. He's getting a PhD. He's brilliant. He's awesome. But one day, like a year ago, give or take, she sent me like one of the problems that he hieroglyphics.
Forget it. Yeah, forget it.
I was like, come on. I was like, you know what? I'm going to trust that this is a real thing and not, like your dog typing on the keyboard for 30 seconds and then sending me something.
Exactly.
Seriously.
And you're sitting around going, okay, we're going to test your dad. We're going to test your pops.
Yeah.
We're going to send him this made-up problem and see if he,
Yes.
yeah.
I'll just trust you. I just had to trust you.
Well, it's like my youngest decided, because he's a snarky little turd, but I love him deeply. He decided to send me, the text messages that, 18-year-olds send to each other.
Sure.
And because again, that's hieroglyphics, the stuff they say to each other.
Right.
And so he sent me a bunch of them to see if I know them, right? And he's he wants to screw with the old man because I'm so old and decrepit. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm sitting there when he sent them, and I'm just looking them up on AI on my computer real quick, and I'm sending it back to him. He's going, "Dad, you know all these?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Well, it's funny because there's a great, and I can't remember the third one, but on Modern Family years ago, in the earlier days at least of some of those, Phil is like, "Oh, hey, I know what the kids are all about, and I know the lingo." Like, and there was one of them. It was like LOL, laugh out loud, WTF. And you know what that means,
Yep.
right? Yeah, but he goes, WTF. He's saying it all matter-of-factly. WTF, why the face?
Hey, I'll be honest. If I didn't have my computer to look it up, I'd had no clue, man.
that's how
Some of
that
that
goes.
stuff, I was like, what does this mean? I have no idea.
Well, speaking of WTF, perhaps, that's kind of how Russell Wilson felt. If y'all didn't hear about this, Sean Payton, after the amazing comeback by the Denver Broncos the other day, and yes, I'm very thrilled about that as a basically lifelong Denver fan. Peyton said, I have a ton of respect for the Giants organization. I spent 4 of my early years there coordinating a Super Bowl, first game in the stadium before 9/11. I'm close with the Mara and Tisch family. They found a little spark with that quarterback. I was talking to John Mara not too long ago, and I said we were hoping that change would have happened long after our game.
So okay, if Jackson Dart isn't starting, who would Sean Payton be hoping?
That would be Russell
starting?
Wilson, who Sean Payton, when he came into Denver, basically said, yeah, I know that you're supposed to make $30 million a year, but you suck. You're out.
Well, remember, too, Sean Payton looked at him like, look, dude, either you waive your injury clause in your contract, because basically we're petrified you're going to get hurt and we have to pay you next year.
Yeah.
Either you waive it or, you know what, have a seat, bub, grab some pine.
So Russell Wilson wrote on Twitter, quote, classless, but not surprised. Didn't realize you're still bounty hunting 15 plus years later through the media. But he did hashtag it, let's ride, because that was the thing that he came up with when he was a Bronco a few years ago. You know, the bounty hunting thing, as most of you know, Sean Payton and the Saints got in a lot of trouble. Sean was suspended for an entire year by the league without pay.
Yep.
And that was some pretty serious stuff that he went through, but he paid his penance. But I get it. Look, I think he was he was definitely taking a little bit of a,
I think so,
or maybe a lot of a dig.
Yeah, I mean, look, Sean Payton got to Denver, and it didn't take him long to realize that Russell Wilson wasn't going to be the short or long-term answer. Didn't take long.
Right.
Remember, Russell had his own office. Russ was doing his thing.
He had his own quarterback coach and all kinds of stuff.
And Payton went, we're not doing this.
Yeah. Well, and then, the year after he's gone and you bring in the rookie, I want to say again, the rookie, you did for the first time you hadn't done in 10 years, you made the playoffs.
Yep.
And now you're sitting at 5-2. I mean, I like Russ.
And guess who got benched again for the rookie?
Yeah. For the rookie. So I kind of see where Sean's going, and that's the give and take. But I was like, oh, okay, Russ. All right, little Jay or nay. We'll revisit start, bench, drop coming up. All right, welcome back in. Final few minutes of our second hour coming up, top of the hour. Headlines of the day, including the big one around college and Major League Baseball all at once, which is also part of today's Start Bench Drop. Gamecock Notebook, Terry will carve out some sound from Mike Shula's press conference today so you can hear exactly what he's thinking after last weekend and looking ahead to playing Alabama. What can be different for South Carolina? I know right now for a lot of people that's a mental struggle to figure out, how much different, how much better it can be at this point. And for some, I know that there's that's not going to happen. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Again, you sit around and you go, well, you hope, right? But it's tough to do that kind of turnaround in such a short period of time. It just is. It
is, especially if you're down people. And that's not to make an excuse and go, hey, don't fret. No, I'm not. But again, as I say, and for those of you who are subscribers to Gamecock Central, read the piece that Terry was just referencing a little bit ago from Will Helms. I want to read one paragraph from it right here real fast. And you touched on it, but I'm just going to read it. And Terry was talking about of the kind of 5 metrics that are there, Carolina's doing well in 3 of them. But Will just basically sums it up by saying it suggests that the Gamecocks, excuse me, my apologies. It suggests the Gamecocks are a competitive football team with a major scoring problem in the money areas. Brush it off all you want, but that's the difference. They are 16th in the conference. Here's the kicker. If they were 12th, they'd average 10 points per game more in SEC play and be 5-2 at worst with a real shot at 6-1. So that comes back to the point I was making to you, Terry. You don't have to be top 3 or 4. You'd like to be, and that's a great goal to shoot for. But if you just, if you look at it in tiers, if you were at the bottom of tier 3, you're scoring 10 points more per game.
Which could lead you to how many victories that you didn't get.
If you got four school tiers and you're last in tier 3.
Yeah. Maybe the Missouri and LSU game are different.
Because, again, in those 2 games, that's why I say I think it got farther away from them. I know Shane, and I don't disagree with Shane in theory when he says we're close. But, again, in Columbia, Missouri, and in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, you had the ball down a score midway through the 4th quarter. You went 3 and out both times, but you had that chance. You did not have that chance Saturday at home against Oklahoma. All right, let's do it. More game show music here. That's always fun.
What's my line action?
That's fun game. All right, let's do it.
Tom Izzo is irate that the NCAA has allowed 2 former G League players to now come and play college basketball. Jay or nay? Is Izzo right?
Jay. They're all over the place, man. Mm-hmm. And you either have to hold to your ideals and your rules or scrap them all together. So, Jay, Tom Izzo is right. At least he's right to be mad.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with
I think once you go play in the G League, man, you should have the eligibility.
You're a pro.
All right, Mike Elko being asked about coaching openings. Here's Mike Elko talking about this to the media.
I don't discuss it with my players. I think it's absolutely hilarious how you guys cover coaches. I think 3 weeks ago I was getting fired. Now I'm getting hired. Now you don't want me to stay, but I'm leaving. It's absolutely hilarious. It is a waste of brain space to spend any time talking or thinking about any of that stupidity.
Mike Elko's response, Jay or nay?
Well, nay. I mean, it's news, and his name rightly is up for a couple of jobs. But look, you and I talked about him for Penn State. He's got a direct tie to college football in Pennsylvania. He's from the area. That makes a lot of sense to put his name on those lists. And if his agent doesn't want his name on those lists, they know how to take him off. I mean, the agent can call the Bruce Feldmans and Pete Thamels and Pete Nakoses of the world, and my boy's not going anywhere.
Can I throw something at you here? You know what you didn't hear Mike Elko say?
I'm staying.
Exactly. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right, here's right now head coach Mike McDaniel of the Miami Dolphins talking about Tua Tagovailoa and the interception problems.
Yeah, he's going to take the snaps this week, and he's going to be our starter this week. And my expectation is that we don't throw 10 picks.
Oh, my.
Tua Tagovailoa has a lot of money wrapped up in Tua still. Is Tua still the future at quarterback for the Dolphins, or is he a short-timer now, Jay or Nay? What do you think? Which way are you going?
He's okay. All right, let me real quick. I know we got. When you say future, are you talking that he'll still be the starter in 5 years, kind of a future?
Yeah, kind of 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, Nay. I just think I think when the patience runs out on the head coach, the next head coach will look to a GM to bring a new quarterback.
They want their own guy.
Yeah.
Especially if they don't buy into Tua.
Yeah. Because if Tua were doing better, there wouldn't be talk of the need to move on. But again, it's still not a great organization.
And no. And the look of talking about your teammates in front of the media and the microphone's not a good look.
I thought you were going to say, like, over under Tua or picks at like 9.5. Hour 3 coming up.
We will be at Kreger Studios this Friday, right outside the studios there. A cool little space out back for our Tailgate Friday show. Savage Craft will be supplying the beverages. Coyote Grills will be grilling the food. It was fantastic last week. It was so much fun. We're doing it again this week. And look, the Kreger Showroom's formerly the Nest right there, 1331 Gadsden in the Vista. 803-978-2025. If you are looking to revamp your home, appliances, the kitchen, the bathroom, a tub, plumbing, lighting, fixtures, 70 years of experience at Kreger Showrooms. Just call 803-978-2025. Set up an appointment, go in, tell them about your budget and your vision and your goals, and walk around that showroom. It's phenomenal, and get it done. 803-978-2025. Talk to experienced experts at Kreger Showrooms, and come on by and see us on Friday 3 to 6 as we do another Friday tailgate at Kreger Showrooms. All right, let's do some traffic without the traffic sounder, I guess. I just decided, can you do a traffic sounder? Oh, I got a great idea.
I can do a helicopter thing. You can do traffic over here.
Let's do some traffic. Apparently. All of a sudden, you're the helicopter, Jay, while I do the traffic. Oh, jeez. All right, we got stop and go.
There's Janice and Diane pointing to the map with traffic.
I-26 westbound. Stop and go traffic between Sunset Boulevard and St. Andrews. That's exit 110 and 106. Highway 60 at I-26. There's an accident. Richland's Casey I-77 southbound at I-26, exit 1. Two Notch Road. There's an accident north Grampian Hills.
It is 5 o'clock news time on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. Final hour of the post-game show alongside Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. We start with Gamecock football. Shane Beamer's Carolina football team hosting Alabama coming up Saturday afternoon. The ABC National Game of the Week at 3:30. Gamecocks 12.5-point underdogs with a 47.5 over-under for those who are interested in such things.
Quick question. Did you think it would be higher? Even though it's at Williams-Brice, did you think the spread would be a little higher?
I think it opened at 13.5, went down to 11.5, and now it's back up to 12.5.
Yeah, I thought it'd be closer to like a 14.5.
It could be by the end of the week. It certainly could be. I thought the over/under might be a little higher.
Yeah, I agree.
Might take. I don't know, but 17.8% chance is given to Carolina from the ESPN computers.
But it went up, you said.
It did. It was 17.6 yesterday. Again, they do like 10,000 simulations every night. I think that's how that kind of thing works. Anyway, but Shane Beamer talking about a lot of things this week, and obviously there was some speculation over the weekend that Shane was indeed very interested, or could be at least interested in the Virginia Tech job. He did his best to deflect all of that in his Sunday teleconference. But yesterday in his weekly press conference, talked about meeting with his players and the kind of message that they are giving each other.
I would say more so than usual. It wasn't, I wouldn't say more so than usual. My door is always open and I meet with guys regularly. So this isn't one of those like, oh my God, crisis, let's start having individual meetings. Some were just me bringing in some guys on offense and defense just to really just check on them. And hey man, how you doing? And how can I help you? And having those conversations. One was a player that, a freshman actually, that wanted to meet with me, that came in my office and honestly got emotional to say, I want to be doing more to help the team. I hate losing, and we got the right people on this team. I want to be doing more to help us, which, I mean, I told him that's the best thing that happened to me yesterday was seeing a guy like that come in that cares and wants to get it right. I mean, I'll be honest with you, a freshman texts you on 10 o'clock on Sunday night that he wants to meet with you the next day. You're like, oh, crap. He wants the red shirt, thinking about transferring. And he came to my office. I'm like, is this about, your 4 games? And he was like, heck no. And then he talked about that. So those are the meetings that I had. And it's just another testament to how much it hurts me that we are where we are, because I want these guys to have so much success. I want the 80+ thousand people that are in Williams-Brice Stadium every single Saturday to see a win from the Gamecocks. And I want all the people, like I said at the beginning, from the low country to the PD to the Midlands to the upstate, to have success and be able to walk into their line of work on Monday morning or school proud about what the Gamecocks did on Saturday. And as a head coach, I'm not getting that done, and I know I'm letting them down, but what gives me great hope to get it turned to where we want it, because we aren't far off, we're not, is players like that. And then everybody on our team. We got a bunch of really good young men on our team that I wish everybody could see how we practice, because it matters. I wish they could see how we walk through, because it matters. I wish they could see how we meet, because it matters. And now we got to take all that great stuff we're doing and do that great stuff on Saturdays. And that's just what we haven't been able to do consistently enough, and that's what's frustrating.
So, and as we said, you blend those things with the analytics that kind of let you know what isn't happening. And Shane, I think, makes what can be deemed a fair point. Now, it doesn't make fans feel any better, and it shouldn't. And again, I come back to it. To me, Saturday's offense was puzzling because it just felt like, that's not going to get it done.
No.
And you're not going to get that done against Alabama and their defense, Mississippi or their defense, A&M or their defense, Clemson or their defense. If you're just going to, because everybody knows what you want to do, you can't do it very well, and you're not doing anything else. At some point, something's going to have to get. And so I get where he's coming from. But it's, and this Alabama team now has, I think, really blossomed. I know I'm not saying you're holding out hope, Terry, or anything like that when you say it, but, whereas James Franklin has a terrible record against ranked teams, Kalen DeBoer has a fantastic record against ranked teams. Kalen has a problem with unranked teams on the road. So does that give South Carolina some kind of fighting chance based on some of the things that Kalen DeBoer's done? We shall see. But if South Carolina doesn't do anything differently to try and keep Alabama off balance, it's going to be tough. So I hear what Shane is saying, and I know fans hear what he's saying, but trying to put the positive spin where negative production is what you see is a tall order.
A couple things real quick. First of all, to the holding out hope.
Well,
Ready?
Yeah.
Ready? Kalen DeBoer, first of all, Kalen DeBoer's record's astonishing. You ready for this? As a head coach, he's 83-1 at home. The only game he ever lost at home was COVID in empty stands. Kalen DeBoer's never
at Fresno then?
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer's never lost a home game with a crowd in the stands in his coaching career. Run that one through your skull real quick, Jay Phillips.
Dang.
Now I'll give you some hope.
Dang.
Ready? Kalen DeBoer on the road against ranked opponents, 6-1.
Yeah.
Kalen DeBoer on the road against unranked opponents, 6-5.
Oh my.
6-5 on the road against unranked opponents. It's the most bizarre record I've ever seen in my life.
Huh.
This guy, first of all, at home, forget it. Last year, the closest team to beat them, by the way, South Carolina Gamecocks.
Yeah. Or to compete with them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But his record, it's so whacked with this 6-5 against unranked teams on the road, but 6-1 against ranked squads on the road.
Yeah.
All right, real quick, we talk about the offense. The defense is going to go up against this in the next 3 weeks. Texas A&M is number 6 in the country in offensive efficiency. Alabama is number 15 in the country in offensive efficiency. And Ole Miss is number 10 in the country in offensive efficiency. Oklahoma and LSU, nowhere near the quality of offense you're about to face in the next 3 weeks. So your defense can only do so much.
Yeah.
The offense has got to step it up huge. If you want a shot in these next 3 weeks, you got to do a heck of a lot better than you've been doing.
That's why
Just saying, man.
That's why you're a double-digit home dog. We'll have more from the Gamecocks in the Gamecock Notebook. Mike Shula, I believe, will have some sound from coming up in just a little bit. Meantime, one more Gamecock note for you in the news. We mentioned this earlier. Not so much poking the bear, but okay, we'll see where it goes. Again, no entitlement here for South Carolina's women's basketball team, but the coaches' vote came out today. Order of finish, Texas, number 1. South Carolina, 2. LSU, 3. Oklahoma, 4. Tennessee, 5. Mississippi 6, Kentucky 7, Vandy 8, Bama 9, Florida 10. Then it's Georgia at 11, Mississippi State, A&M, Missouri, Auburn, and Arkansas. Madison Booker was voted the preseason player of the year. The first team preseason first team is Flau'jae Johnson and Michaela Williams from LSU, Reagan Beers of Oklahoma, Joyce Edwards and Tanaya Lotson of South Carolina, Talaysia Cooper of Tennessee, Madison Booker of Texas, and Michaela Blakes, very good player at Vanderbilt. For what it's worth, Columbia's Malaysia Fulwiley, now an LSU Tiger, was voted as part of the second team all preseason. So Texas voted number 1 by the coaches. South Carolina number 2. Speaking of coaches, huge news today. We've talked about it a lot, but to reiterate, for those of you who have not yet heard, the San Francisco Giants today have now officially announced that Tony Vitello, the former Tennessee Volunteers baseball coach, is the new manager out in the Bay Area. It is the first time ever that a big league team has hired a manager directly from a college program with no experience at the professional level. Tony Vitello was a college baseball player at a small level, never played a day as a minor league player, and has never coached one day in a minor league or major league organization in any way. He replaces Bob Melvin, who was fired in September after just, and again, an 81 season. They started out with some promise, but it's their fourth consecutive season without going to the playoffs. And again, this is the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
They expect something different. They're not out there to just, this isn't the A's.
Right.
This isn't the Pirates.
Nope.
God bless all of them. This isn't the White Sox. This is the San Francisco Giants. Tony Vitello is 47 years old. He won the SEC twice. He won the SEC tournament twice. He won the national championship, of course, and took Tennessee to 3 College World Series. It's a huge move. How good a move? I don't know. There's going to be wide and varying opinions about what kind of move this is for the Giants. There is certainly a lot to like about Tony Vitello. There is certainly a lot not to like about Tony Vitello. Over 162 games, as we said, this is not about recruiting anymore. There's the occasional schmoozing of a free agent who's probably going to make, 10 times what you make. But it's I'm surprised, Terry. I am. I get it. Listen. He may be a jerk to a lot of people, but he is clearly very successful. But can that translate? I don't know. We'll see. I'm not doubting it per se. I just, again, there's a reason it's never been done.
And I'll say this, like we yapped about this earlier in the show. I think it's very hard to gauge if a hire is good or not for baseball managers because it's so much about fit because you spend so much time together. And how you manage the clubhouse is more important than how you manage the game almost. If you ask me, say, Terry, your first opinion, do you think Tony Vitello is going to be successful? No. I don't think he will for the reasons you and I and David Cloninger talked about. You got to change your act, man. You're going to go manage grown men who make a lot more money than you that know if it comes down to you or them, it's going to be you.
Yeah.
You aren't walking in there like, and I know it's a little different now in college with NIL and transfer portals. You're not so much a dictator anymore, and you got to navigate better. But navigating college players and navigating Major League Baseball players is a huge leap. And there's, like you said, there's a reason this hasn't been done before. So if you ask me, do I think it's going to work? No. Am I massively interested in this now? Oh, God, yeah. Am I going to pay attention to the Giants more than I ever paid attention to them?
Yeah.
Because I want to see if this experiment works. I am going to give Buster Posey credit. He went way outside the box to do this, and we'll see where it goes.
And Tony, again, Tennessee basically didn't care about baseball anymore. And he made them not just relevant, he made them elite. And in 7 years. Really, in like 4 years, he made them very relevant.
Yeah.
And then made them, let's face it, again, people don't like him, but they were in envy of a lot of programs.
Yeah.
And he won 3. I'm looking here. He was 341 and 131 from 2018 forward, and again went to Omaha 3 times.
Now, are they just going to promote his lieutenant, who was in the mix for some other jobs, or are they going to go outside the family, so to speak, and go get a high level dude?
I don't know. I would. That's a good question. I would almost think they may want to go get someone. But I don't know. They haven't said yet, and they have a little bit of time.
Now remember,
but you're in fall ball, so
when Schloss left to go to Texas, the hitting instructor was promoted at A&M,
and that didn't work well.
How'd that go?
It didn't work.
And the idea was we got to promote to keep continuity, keep these kids from hitting the portal. We want to keep consistency, same message. All that sounds good, except for one thing: can the guy coach? Can he be a head coach?
And I think in this situation, because there's a coach leaving, these kids can automatically enter the portal without having a regular portal opening.
And that's why A&M just promoted the hitting instructor to keep everybody, but that was a miserable failure after 1 year.
So we'll see where this one goes. Finally, real quick, the Commanders announced today that Jaden Daniels is out for this coming Monday, so basically a week out, or 6 days out of the Monday night game at Kansas City. He has a low-grade hamstring strain. Had an MRI on Monday that said it was not long-term damage, no tear, but they feel, and they're right, especially with the way he plays, you can't come back on that after a week.
Nope.
So he will miss the game at Kansas City, and Marcus Mariota will now make the start. It's his third start of the season already. So
Yeah, Jaden Daniels has been nicked up this year, man.
Yeah. Had a left knee sprain as well earlier in the season. So this will be a tough one, but especially going to a Chiefs team that seems to have
you got it going now, don't they?
Found its stride just a little bit. That's our headlines of the day, brought to you by Integrated Media, 803-948-8327 for all your home theater needs and so much more. Call my good friends at Integrated Media. Let you hear from Mike Shula, part of the Gamecock Notebook. That's next. Love telling you about our good friends at Cato's Power Equipment. Ben and Matt and the crew. Fall means leaves and straw, but you're probably like me and a lot of people still want to use the lawnmower to get those things up a whole lot quicker. Bag them up, mulch them up. Hey, it's good for you, but it also could play havoc with your blades and everything else. Right now, through Halloween, Cato's is offering you 25% off all shop labor on service and repair work, whether you have a Toro like me or an Aaron's or a Gravely Zero Turn. They can come and even get it if you've got a big rider, harder to get it delivered over to the shop for an extra $100. They'll come pick it up, service it accordingly. And again, you're saving 25% off the service. They'll bring it back to you. Boom, ready to go. Whether it's fresh blades, engine service, upgrading to a bag, or mulch kit, Cato's Power Equipment is here to help you maintain all the yard tools that you have. Call them at 254-3711. Stop by and see them, 4012 West Beltline Boulevard, or visit catospowerequipment.com.
Taking a check on the traffic, we have an accident, Highway 60 at I-26. Also, accidents reported at I-77 southbound at I-26. That's exit 1. Two Notch Road at Grampian Hills Road as well. And stop-and-go traffic, I-26 westbound between Sunset Boulevard, that's exit 110, and St. Andrews Road, exit 106.
All right, welcome back in. It is Gamecock Notebook time. Maybe this weekend Carolina could get another supplemental touchdown, at least on the special teams side. The Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest is rolling along. You can register at 1075thegame.com. Terry, as Terry would say, find the Lawyer Lisa clicky, spinny thing or something to that effect. You'll see it. It's there. Click that. It'll tell you what to do. And if Carolina scores a special teams touchdown, which they tried to do last week, you could win, what is it, $600?
$600. We should make it the Lawyer Lisa supplemental touchdowns.
Well, you have to call them. That would be defensive scores as well, which do not currently.
No, they do not
count.
That would add all that in there. And, of course, I mean, you would want to cut this since you came up with the supplemental touchdown term.
I'm going to put it on a T-shirt.
Yes.
I got a lot of T-shirts.
Make some dough, man.
Yeah. Could do that. Mike Shula and Clayton White spoke today down at the facility. And obviously, Mike in the crosshairs of a lot of fans. And I think he understands that. Here's a few minutes from the Gamecock offensive coordinator. You'll hear, once again, the dulcet tones of our great friend David Cloninger asking Mike about some of the things that happened on Saturday.
Just looking back at the Oklahoma game after film study, what was it that you guys saw maybe before the game to think that the runs up the middle would work? And it seemed to be just during the game they weren't working very well, yet you guys were really trying to pound it in there.
Yeah, so we had a couple hit early, and, each week you look at, running the ball, throwing the ball, mixing it up, and sometimes you have to, there's plays that you hit that early in the game might not be good, that might open up later. Unfortunately, we weren't good enough and didn't have as much, success there. And, they're good on defense, too. So, there's been other times where we've had, where gains early in the game, runs early in the game have been that way, and then they popped, this season. So, yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get in a good rhythm in any case. And, but, yeah.
Hindsight can obviously be 20/20, but are there any particular calls or situations that you look back to from Saturday where you're like, hey, I'd kind of like to have that back, do it over maybe?
Yeah, we were on to we're on to these guys now, but yeah, you look back every week and probably say that. But there's a fine line in second guessing yourself or obviously looking and becoming and looking into it and becoming better. There's certain. They do a good job on defense where, where they'll bring zones and, they'll bring blitzes and drop guys out. And the ones that you really look at as a play caller is if, you're looking there and there's nothing available either with the first guy or the second guy. And, there might have been one play like that, but they're good too. But yeah, you have to go back and continue to evaluate, and depending on the defense, like this week too, just making sure we're giving our guys the best chance to operate, run game or pass game wise.
When the protection struggles, kind of like it has at times this year, how much does that affect how you play call during a game and kind of change from what it is you normally want to do going into it?
Yeah, well, protection involves everybody. It's not just the offensive line. It's not just the running backs. It's, the quarterback getting the ball out on time. It's the receivers getting open on time. It's all of us as coaches and players, and making sure that we, the protection is probably going to be a lot better on 1st and 10 than it is on 2nd and long or 3rd and long. So staying out of those situations. You try to get a balance each and every week in that regard and try to stay ahead of the chains. I think on our drives and throughout the year, you would say when we're staying ahead of the chains and not getting behind them, you have, all those things are, you're protecting better. The ball's coming out. So, and there's different kinds of protections too. So you look into different protections. You look into making sure that you try your best not to put your guys in a bad matchup situation, protection wise. So different ways you can do that. And, it's all hands on deck in regards to, having the different protections.
Early in the season, you guys hit on a couple deep passes, and I'm curious, how do you balance right now as a play caller of wanting to have some of those deep shots. You know, the one to Van Dravius ended up in a PI, and that worked out well. But also knowing, hey, I don't know how many I can call of these because I'm not sure how long Lenore's is going to have.
Yeah, no, that's good question. Again, you want to stretch the field. You want to have the defense have to cover the whole field in regard to, down the field, intermediate, short, sidelines, all that kind of stuff. You want to help your linemen where you're not just saying, hey, we want to throw the ball down the field and you got to protect, because that's not advantageous either. So you got to have a good mix in that, and running game helps in that too. So, yeah, you need to. There is a balance, a delicate balance, and the other thing that's you have to make sure as a play caller is you don't quite leave things too early in the game and just kind of like, hey, we got to just throw it on every down, which is hard if you're not, if you don't have the lead and things like that. So, those are things we continue to look at, and we do it based on, hey, what's the best thing for our players? What gives them the best chance to operate? Is it throwing it every down, or is it, hey, mixing in runs, mixing in inside runs, outside runs, draws, screens, things like that?
So there you go. Mike Shula giving his explanation of where things are, why things aren't working the way you want to. I know that's not going to make the majority of people that follow this football program any happier or make them feel any better.
Yeah.
I'll keep coming back to it. I do think last Saturday, Terry, I'm going to use the word again. Maybe some of you have heard me say it. Some of you have not. My word was puzzling. I just think after a while, and it really started with David Conner's question there. You were doing it, and it wasn't working. What made you think at some point that it was going to work? Well, we hit a few, but when you didn't, what was Plan B? What was Plan C? And it didn't feel like Saturday really had.
Yeah, I said this to David, and you and I have talked about it. It's just I feel like that Mike Shula and the offensive staff come up with a game plan. You work on this thing all week. You're putting in 27 hours a day. You get to Saturday. The scripts are great in the early. We've seen first and second drives been phenomenal.
Yeah.
So this is why I think this way. But then once you get going, man, and you're in the cockpit and you're flying the plane, sometimes you got to riff, right? Move here and there for clouds and turbulence. And I just feel like here's the game plan, and bleep, bleep, bleep it. We're going to just we believe in this game plan, and we're just going no matter what. We're going to plow through for 4 quarters with our game plan because we believe through what we've done in study and all these other things, this is the way to go. But it didn't work 10 times in a row. But, okay, work once or twice. So we believe if we continue. That's just me, Jay, and I'm not in the room. That's just how it feels to me.
That's what it looks like, and that's what all we can do is what we see.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Nathan wants to weigh in on what we've been listening to. Hey, Nathan, good afternoon.
Nathan.
Guys, I'm frustrated. I got a comment and then 2 questions. And my first comment is I feel like Mike Shula is a kid that keeps trying to pound that square peg in a round hole, saying it's going to fit, because I don't see any adjustments since the Virginia Tech game. I try to sit back and kind of figure out what he's seeing on defense and why he may call a certain play, and I just don't see a rhyme or reason. It's almost like he just looks at the play call sheet and picks a play and goes, yeah, I'll call that play. Now, I know he doesn't do that, but it does seem like that from time to time. So I guess my 2 questions are, when do we start, or when do we stop, rather, with the whole, well, it hit once or twice, or when do we start holding his feet to the fire and go, okay, you haven't evolved during the season. You haven't adjusted to what the defenses are doing. And 2 guys, I'm worried if this train keeps going down this track, Shane may lose that locker room, and you may have a bunch of people have a max exit after this season. So those are my 2 concerns, and I'll hang up and listen.
Okay, Nathan, thank you. Yeah, the stop with the once or twice, like I said, Shane addressed that yesterday and said if I felt I needed to make a change, I'd make a change. Now, I think he meant more staffing-wise than he did in terms, or I don't want to say in turn or instead of scheming wise. Shane also said we have talked about the scheme. We have talked about the design.
Right.
Where exactly, Nathan, they begin to get away from that, and a couple of those questions, like Elijah's question that you might have just heard there, our own Elijah Campbell. Hey, when the protection breaks down and you had something in mind, but then you can't do it. What does that feel like? The reverse could almost be true.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you have an idea that you can't do everything you're going to want to do protection-wise. That would be my thing, Nathan, is what do we do about that? We'll answer the other question on the other side because we're up against a break. That'll be part of the drive around the SEC.
Men's Clinic of South Carolina. Look, we talk about this a lot because guys don't like to talk about anything. That's what we do. We don't want to say anything about anything because we're men. We're tough. But sometimes, things are happening and you're a little confused, weirded out by it, concerned, scared, whatever. You could not be sleeping as good as you used to. Maybe you're not as strong at the gym as you used to be. Maybe you don't bounce back from exercise like you did years ago. Maybe you can't remember stuff. Maybe you just you have a lack of drive, whether it's, life, sexual, personal, professional, whatever. You just got to get bleh. 803-875-MENS. If you are feeling bleh, you call the Men's Clinic, go see Dr. Dan and the staff. The consultation is free and confidential. Tell them your story. If they think it could be low T, they'll do lab work. If it comes back low testosterone, they'll put you on a plan to get you back to being you again. 803-875-MENS, Men's Clinic. Let's get a check on the roads. Stop and go between I-26 westbound, Sunset Boulevard exit, which is 110, St. Andrews Road exit 106. We've been seeing a lot of that lately in that area. So again, stop and go in that part of I-26 westbound. Also, a disabled vehicle. The right lane is blocked. I-26 westbound at I-20, exit 107B. Accidents. Assembly at Blossom in Columbia. Also, Highway 60 at I-26 Richland, another Richland accident, Two Notch Road near Fontaine Road as well. We'll pop back in here and drive around the SEC coming up next. And also, do not forget our big tailgate show, 3 to 6 p.m. at Kreger Showrooms. That is this Friday on Gadsden. Savage Craft supplying the beverages, food from Coyote Grill. That will be Friday. Post-game show, Jay and Terry, drive around the SEC is next.
It is drive around the SEC time. And Nathan, I am going to get back to your second question during this segment, but let me get to the SEC news because there is big news. If you missed it at the top of the hour or earlier in the day or haven't been paying attention to your favorite sports feeds, huge news. Tony Vitello, the very successful head baseball coach at the University of Tennessee, today has left that job to become the manager of the San Francisco Giants. It is the first time ever that a sitting college coach has gone directly to become a manager of a Major League Baseball team. And as Terry and I have been saying a lot, even when this was beginning to be speculated a couple of days ago, even going a few weeks back when Vitello's name was mentioned for the Braves and the Giants, at first I was like, and I told you then because you're like, well, agents can do things. And I was like, yeah, but if my agent wanted to do this for a ploy for Tennessee to pay me, then he'd be like, hey, bud, Arkansas, Texas, Arizona State, something like that. You're not doing it for the bigs because if you're going to the bigs, you're going to the bigs. You're out, right? So now here we are.
I'll be honest. I did not see this coming.
I didn't either.
I'm surprised.
I didn't either. And it's not because, listen, as you pointed out, too, look, baseball is baseball, but college athletics, I'm not going to say college baseball. It's not like college baseball is like T-ball. Right.
Right.
Or it's 90 feet and it's 60.6 and the bats and the ball and the walls and the game is the game. But Tony Vitello, or college athletics, and again, I'm not going to say exclusive to college baseball. College athletics, what is it? It's all about recruit. That's it. It's recruiting. Yes, you need to develop, and yes, there are games where you have to coach and manage. Squeeze bunt. Relief pitcher. Who's going to be my DH? Where do I move the guys in the lineup? Yes, all those things too. None of that matters as much in college as recruiting. Because if you got a lineup full of dudes and you got a bullpen and staff full of dudes, you're going to win a lot of games.
Sometimes despite your decisions.
Yes. And I didn't want you to swing at that. Sorry, Coach. I just wanted to hit it 450 feet. That's cool.
I want to break a windshield in the parking lot really bad.
Like it. This is different. This is 162 games. You do not have to go recruit. You are not the developer. You are the guy who manages egos. You'd have to call a squeeze play. Yes, you have to decide when a pitcher comes out of a ball game. Yes, you decide the lineup every day. Yes, so those things are there. I'm with you. Does he know baseball? Obviously. There is clearly something in the interview process with both Buster Posey. And I was just looking up to find out the owner's name is Greg Johnson. Believe it or not, they're worth a lot of money.
Stunning.
And they have clearly decided that this is the right man for not just their job. Again, most of you listening are probably Braves fans. Probably a lot of you that like the Yankees or Dodgers or something else too. But all of you that if you follow Major League Baseball, you know that the Giants' job is not just. It's not just a job.
Right.
Again, they're no longer in the Bay, but it's not the A's. It's not even the Mariners. It's not the Rockies or the Diamondbacks, or the Royals or the Pirates. This is the Giants. As we said, this is a top-tier Major League job. Yankees, Red Sox, Giants, Dodgers, Braves. You mentioned the Astros. Potentially the Cubs or Rangers with the ability to spend a lot of money and have huge fan bases. Phillies and Mets, obviously, Phillies, I would say Mets, again, I'm not trying to be that fan.
Well, I'll be. They're not.
Yeah, but again, the Giants are in the mix of the biggest clubs. And, last decade, they won the World Series 3 times. They have high expectations. They sell out the ballpark every day for a lot of ticket money. Again, huge fan base.
Absolutely.
Huge fan base.
I
It's
look-
a big, big, big job.
I can see Vitello because, I mean, again, I've watched him on TV a few times. I can see him mesmerizing Buster Posey in the hierarchy with the Giants. You know, I mean, the guy again, he's got a pretty big personality and ego. Of what he did at Tennessee, you got to have a big personality and ego. And again, that personality ego has rubbed people the wrong way. And maybe that big personality with that edge is what
They
really
want, yeah.
sucked in Buster Posey and the people with the San Francisco
They're looking down
Giants.
south and going, the best franchise in baseball right now is our hated generational rival, and we better do something different.
We got to do something. And plus, the Diamondbacks went to the World Series a couple years ago.
Yeah.
The Padres have been in the playoffs, got to the NLCS a few years ago. They're all passing us. We got to think outside the box. So, I wouldn't have done this, but I see where the road led to Buster Posey giving this a shot.
I do too. And that's part of our start bench drop. Again, start bench drop, these feelings around this, whether it's Buster Posey's move, how you feel, crazy, risky, savvy. We'll give you ours coming up a little bit later on. And if you want to throw other adjectives onto it, feel free. But crazy, risky, savvy. But again, Tony Vitello is the new manager of the San Francisco Giants.
It's crazy.
Crazy,
risky,
and again,
savvy,
God
Jay.
bless Tennessee fans who, but he loves Tennessee. Why would he leave? Because it's the San Francisco Giants.
I know.
And then Tennessee, seriously, if you're a Vol right now and this hurts you, it should hurt you because it's a big deal. But be proud that you had someone do what he did and is now, let me say it again, the manager of the San Francisco Giants. It's a big deal, too, you know. And again, this Danny White, you know, all you do, you know, hey, Tony, we'll give you another $1 million. Nah, bro.
I'm good.
You pat him on the back and you say thank you.
And you feel proud, like you said. I think you.
And they
nailed
have,
it.
by the way. Tennessee has done that
Yeah,
today.
feel proud.
Yes.
Hell, everybody came out before the Giants. The Tennessee people, Tony Vitello's next door neighbor's aunt's dog thanked him. And the Giants finally went, yeah, okay, it's official. So yeah, I mean, look, again to the point of you just said, nope, they didn't offer this to the Northwestern baseball coach.
Right.
They offered this to the Tennessee baseball coach because of the enormous turnaround he did with that program and his success.
Yeah. So they feel there's something there. We'll see.
Well, Twitter's probably feeling really good.
There's some of them who, again, it's look. I get love your school. I love my school. Love your school. I understand.
Right.
But at some point you need to realize what's happening here. And I don't think a lot of Vol Twitter does.
You don't think?
I
Really,
don't.
Jay?
I think a lot of them do. I looked again.
Okay.
Sometimes Vol Twitter is very entertaining, and
Yeah,
today
it
is
is.
one of those days to go look and see. And I look, the majority I think understand, and I would be upset if this was my head coach and we were that successful going to Omaha a lot. You know,
Because now you have an unknown.
if Carolina fans after if Ray had said after the second title. And this was kind of happening, and Ray Tanner is the new manager of the Atlanta Braves. We'd be like, damn, all right. Like, I don't know what we're going to do yet. And by the way, we don't know anything from Tennessee. Whether they will hire from within, whether they will go try to
big
lure.
fishing, big game hunting.
They were paying him three plus.
They'll pay the right guy.
So we'll
Absolutely.
see. Nathan called earlier to wrap things up. Would stop with the once or twice kind of thing. Look, again, I think Shane and Mike, Nathan have talks about what they're going to do in terms of play calling, and things must get different. And how much more of a role Sean Elliott can begin to play as he takes over at the offensive line spot will be interesting. But Nathan brought up the second question he had was, is Shane in danger of losing the locker room? I don't believe so.
No.
And that's one of the reasons at the top of the hour, I'm not saying you may or may not have heard it, Nathan, but that's one of the reasons that we played about a 2-minute cut from Shane on that very topic, or at least within that realm, of having player meetings and having some guys come to him say, and Shane even said for one kid, man, I thought he was going to tell me I'm out. And instead he was like, I want to be more in.
A freshman, yeah.
So, he didn't name a name. So, look, I think those guys, I think Shane has built a great culture. And I would be supportive of Shane remaining. I think Shane's going to know he needs to do some changing.
Just like a couple years ago.
Maybe more than tweaking, But I still believe that Shane's leadership and recruiting abilities and management of his roster and his relationship with fans is still good for South Carolina. But changes must come, and I think he understands that. That's the drive around the SEC. We'll give you our start bench drop on the Vitello situation and Jay versus the Internet coming up. It is Jay versus the Internet time. We'll do that for you in just a second. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry, final few minutes on this Wednesday. Let's give the final word on the phones, at least today, to Keith. He's been holding on, wants to weigh in more on what's going on around Mike Shula and the Gamecock offense. Keith, how you doing, bud?
Hey, how you doing, Jay Terry?
Good, man.
This is my take. You know, if we look at last year, great year, the portal giveth and the portal taketh. We really benefited from it last year. Anybody looking at this schedule and looking at what we lost, I was thinking, 6 wins probably would be a good year, even though probably not in the eye of the average sport fan. But the reality is what's in front of us, and after seeing Coastal go to Appalachian State, I mean, we could find ourselves 4-8, 3-9. But let me tell you where I have hope. You go back 3 years ago, Indiana was 3-9. What do? They go and hire a coach, and people are questioning what in the world are they doing. He brings 22 players from his school. Last year they go 11-1, only lose to Ohio State. They go to Oregon. They beat Oregon. They demolish Michigan. So that gives me hope that we can do that here. And I'm appreciative for what Ray Tanner done. But let me tell you, this new AD, he's got big plans. Right. And without the football program being successful, those plans are going to be tough to accomplish. Yeah. So I got confidence in him, and I hope for Beamer it works out. But I do think that this guy's not going to fool around.
Well, yeah, Keith, good phone call, buddy. And no, I think, yeah, and Shane knows these things too. But yes, as you begin to pump tens of millions into the improvements at Williams-Brice Stadium and the surrounding area, you need people down there to sit in those seats and enjoy those amenities and have something they want to pull for.
You know, Jay, most of the country, because of where we're at with NIL and the transfer portal, a lot of programs are year to year, right? I mean, Keith brought up Indiana.
Yeah.
But a lot of programs are 1 year, look what happened here. Disappointing 5-7, pop back, win 9 games.
Right.
This year's been disappointing. Next year you can pop back and win God knows how many games.
Right.
It's just the way the world is. I mean, look, would you like to be consistently winning big every year? Sure, everybody wants to. But this thing is hard to navigate, bro.
It is, and and I think Keith makes a good point about the portal. How hard do they hit the portal this year? I think you thought you had some guys. It didn't happen. Shane, and we don't have time for it now, but Shane had a question yesterday about what did y'all like about the offensive line and just what's gone wrong. You can find that if you want to go back and listen to Shane's press conference and hear that answer. I believe it was later in the presser, if I remember correctly. But yeah, Keith. Jeremiah and Shane they'll have talks and
sure.
And again, changes will need to be made, and there's some things that need to be elevated. I don't think there's any doubt of that.
Always got to reevaluate.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you do have to sell those things.
So which way did you go start bench drop, sir?
I've kind of gone back and forth. Again, start bench drop, how you might feel or how you might classify it for what Buster Posey, the head of baseball, did with the Giants in terms of hiring Tony Vitello. Crazy, risky, savvy. Start. I'm going to start risky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bench savvy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll drop crazy. It's not crazy to me. Some people might think it is, but I'm gonna start risky because again, not that I don't believe in Tony Vitello as a baseball coach. It's literally never been done. So when you do something no one's ever done, you take a great risk. And so I'll start risky, bench savvy because he is a winner and maybe does bring again. They got to go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers.
Absolutely.
And you got to find a way to light a fire. And maybe Tony Vitello is not just lighting a fire. He's lighting a big, giant, one of those big, giant bonfires.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Inferno.
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
Yeah.
We were kids.
I do, yeah. Towering Inferno.
I'm going to go.
I like Disco Inferno better.
The Tramps, baby. Look at you go.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going risky like you on the start because it is risky. I'm going to go crazy because no one's ever done it before.
Okay.
And then I'm going to bench savvy, but it's all three to me. I think you picked the three best. They're all three correct in this one.
I think they're, so we'll see. But again, I just want who are the Braves going to get? That's now my. So I want the Braves to be savvy.
David Cloninger. We know this.
All right, let's do it.
All right, here we go. You were 1-2 yesterday. Nice work by you. You kind of stunk. All right, today, Middle Tennessee, Morris Conference USA. Middle Tennessee State, Delaware, Middle Tennessee. Delaware 9.5-point favorite at home.
Yeah, the fighting Elijah Campbells aren't so good.
No,
give me the Blue Hens.
New Mexico State hosting Missouri State. 1.5-point favorite is Missouri State on the road.
Sure, why not? Missouri State.
Over under the fighting Elijah Campbells in Delaware. Over under 55.5.
Oh my. That sounds like too many. Give me the under.
Okay,
I have no idea how many they score, so give me the under.
Going under, taking the Hens, and taking Missouri State.
There you go.
All right, good job, dude.
Thank you. Well,
we'll see.
We'll find out around midnight. All right, thanks to David Cloninger for joining us. Appreciate all of you and all the well wishes for Terry. I'm Jay. See you tomorrow.